For anyone who hadn't heard, my fiance's claim he can freeze time, and that some sort of monster appeared from one of his frozen moments. He's been missing for 3 weeks now. I've been trying to find him since I got out of the hospital. I guess he forgot that he gave me his Reddit password. I finally found his story and his farewell. His name is Sean. He's a really sweet guy. We were going to be married sometime next year. No idea if that's still happening. I didn't know what to think about the ability he had. On some level, I think I always thought it was some kind of magic trick he could do. It bothered me a little that he seemed to really believe in it though. But the thing was, I could never disprove it. I tried. I tried writing things on the other side of the house before asking him to go read them. And every time, he'd look at me, smile, and recite what I'd written word for word. Like he was just pulling it out of my head. He even pointed out my spelling errors. One time that happened. He never let me forget. If he really could freeze time, I have no idea what he's doing as a regular, but successful, office worker. He works in accounting. If he could freeze time, shouldn't he be employed by the military as some sort of super spy? I don't know. I guess he'd rather use it to spy on girls. God, is that true? I was one of those volleyball players. That's just creepy. He claimed it was because he didn't want to do that stuff. I can respect that. Not the locker room part. He just wanted a normal life. He also said there were too many limitations. I've clung to the idea that whatever he was doing, it wasn't freezing time. That shouldn't be possible. I mean, if he did, how come he can move through air molecules? How can he breathe and process oxygen? The physics make no sense. It had to be some sort of magic trick, right? For a while, it was just a quirk, but it started to get serious. First, he came home one day looking all kinds of flustered. He told me he saw something after he froze time. Something that moved. He said he started screaming in the middle of town. I actually got a text from a friend who saw it happen, asking if he was okay, so he definitely screamed in public. Then he told me all about the egghead shadow. I'm pretty good at reading people. He was legitimately scared of something. But what could he have possibly seen? If his powers were real, it's even scarier. What could possibly move between the frozen moments of one person and free-flowing time? Things went downhill after that, but you already know that. I started seeing the egghead. I never got a good look. It was always just a glimpse of an elongated limb in my periphery, or a shadow flitting by a doorway. And it was all accompanied by a weird chill that would give me goosebumps and make me want to panic. The thing started moving, I'm telling you. I thought I was just in a typical ghost story at first. Or maybe I had some creepy stalker moving my things when I wasn't looking. Then, one time, I swear, a bottle of perfume I was looking directly at vanished before my eyes. It just blinked out of existence and left me wondering whether it had been there in the first place. Sean said he couldn't move things like that. So was it this egghead? Then came that night. That night I truly saw the egghead for the first time. I saw it clearly, and it was even worse than Sean described. It was reaching for me with gangly limbs and elongated fingers. Those white voids where eyes would have been seemed to suck in the air around them, and there was a mouth, just a little half-moon slit filled by the same white void as its eyes, which gave it a freaking frowny face. I screamed, fell, and almost died when I landed on a pair of scissors. Sean got me to the hospital. I remember him telling me he loved me. That was the last time I saw him. He was in contact for maybe a week. I kept trying to convince him to come home. His responses got erratic. And then they stopped. A day later, the egghead reappeared, right in my face. I stepped out of the shower and there it was. Its flesh was like a black void, but its eyes were like empty holes leading to pure whiteness. Just like Sean described, my body froze, but I was left aware as the thing took its wobbly steps towards me. I couldn't move my eyes. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't do anything. Soon it was inches from me. I could taste it. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't smell it or anything. But its rank, metallic aura poured over me all the same and stained my immobile tongue. It tasted like death. I was forced to stare into its eyes. Saw something in them, something the endless white. I'm trying to think of the words to describe what I saw, but I can't. There was a sudden crash and whirl of noises. Suddenly I could move again, just like the first time I fell on my butt. No scissors were there to stab me this time. When I finally got my bearings, I found the egg had gone, and the house empty. I wanted answers. I found my way to his Reddit page and read his account. I've been looking into things since. The number of fatal accidents keep increasing. And does that mean Sean failed? Time is still moving, and bad things are still happening. I was going to wait and hope that he'd contact me again. The last text he sent me said, "I think I found it." And then nothing. I went to the police and filed a missing person report and all. I've talked to his parents and friends. I had to tell them I didn't know what he was doing, which wasn't a lie, but I still omitted the part about the freezing time shadow. I can't stay quiet now though. Something is happening to me, and it's growing in intensity. It started as a headache. I figured it was just stress. I almost died, and my fiance vanished soon after. My friends all think he stabbed me himself, and I'm covering for him. That really sucks, so of course I'm stressed. I wasn't particularly surprised when I felt it the first time. It was almost like a scratching sensation, one happening inside my skull. It both was and wasn't physical. I almost felt it like I could hear it for a few seconds. It sounded like rusty metal being dragged inside more rusty metal, maybe with a dash of something organic, a sort of wet squelch. It lasted maybe 5 seconds, and then my head started to throb. Like I said, I thought it was just a headache and I ignored it. It keeps happening. It almost seemed to happen at random times. I haven't figured out a pattern yet. I'll just be staring into space. I've been doing that a lot these days, and then, all of a sudden, I feel this scratching and my head throbs. I didn't think it was anything but stress until it happened while I was moving. I've never felt anything like it. Along with the headache and the scratching, it felt like I had entered a cloud of molasses. I could barely move, and as I did move, it was way slower than it should have been. That was when I started to suspect it had something to do with Sean and that thing. I had no idea how. It makes no logical sense. Is time breaking down around me? Why do I even feel anything? If time stopped, why would I even be aware? As far as I can tell, time is just moving forward normally. I still don't know. It keeps happening. The last time it happened, my nose started bleeding. It's been 2 days. He's gone. I was in a frozen moment at some point. I was typing, and my computer keys just stopped working. And they suddenly felt as solid as steel. I wouldn't move no matter how I pushed. I looked around, and everything was frozen. It's just like Sean described. Everything is frozen in place. It was raining outside. The droplets were like little cold glass roadblocks. I couldn't move them. So I was trapped in the house, and that thing was there. It looked different. It wasn't as elongated, and I swear it was trying to talk to me, but it sounded like its voice was a million miles away, or maybe a few moments in the past or future. It didn't seem malevolent. It kept gesturing at me. Its wide eyes were wide circles. For a time, it looked like it was mimicking the motions of writing something on a piece of paper. When it tried to touch me, I swear something in the universe just broke. I'm back in the hospital. When that thing touched me, I was wretched back to my original spot at my computer so fast and violently. I now have a concussion because I think my brain bounced around in my skull. Somehow, nothing else is physically wrong with me. I feel like the force should have ripped my limbs off. I only have a theory on what happened. I don't think that Egghead was the same one that I saw before. I think this one was Sean, and I think he was trying to communicate. It's possible he's been trying for a while, and that's what the scratching sensation was. I guess he figured out how to do different things with his ability. Maybe he could even pass forward or backward in time, but I think it took a physical toll on him. I think that's why he looked like an egghead. I don't know why he looked like a living shadow. Maybe he smeared himself across time? Maybe the other egghead was someone else who tried to meddle even more. I haven't seen anything strange since I was frozen. There was, however, one more incident. Sean and an unknown man were found dead in a local warehouse. Cause of death is unknown. Both bore strange burns on their bodies nobody could identify. The police think they found a genetic link between the unknown man and someone else. That person is only 14 right now, but they've already got a rap sheet. I went to identify Sean's body. It was definitely him. He looks older than I remember. I don't know if that has something to do with his powers or not. He did have a beard that looked way thicker than 3 weeks' worth. My fiance is gone. I think the threat is 2. Are there more? How far do their powers go? I'm scared. I wish Sean was here. Update. I know I haven't posted yet, but I found something. Sean left one last message. I'm not sure how. It was sitting on a table when I got home from the hospital. It was where that shadow looked, like it was writing something. I've got it typed out. Here it is. Dear Delilah, dear Delilah, I don't know why I can do the things I do. I figured I was just a mutant or some shit. But I'm not the only one. The first one I saw came from the future. It learned how to turn back time, and it's wreaking havoc. Every time it moves something that shouldn't move, I feel it. It sounds like massive metal slabs grinding against each other. Every time someone dies, it becomes a cacophony. Whatever it's doing, something is breaking. I figured out how to do new things. It hurts. The only thing that doesn't hurt is what I used to do, where I'd move around in a frozen moment. Anything else feels like it's stretching me. I think I understand now. It is stretching me. It's making me exist in multiple moments at once, in the same universe. That's not supposed to be possible. That's why my skin is fading. That's why, when I look into my reflection's eyes, I see those white voids. The other egghead was hiding in a single moment, but then it came after you. I chased it away, and I was following it in that moment for what felt like years. I think it was toying with me. After all that time, the grating sound barely phases me, but I feel the effects getting worse. I finally figured out how to fight it, and I think I have it cornered. I have it frozen in a moment, but I had to come back and try to say goodbye first. I love you, Delilah. The only way I can think to stop this thing will kill me too. I wish I could spend my life with you, but it's better this way. The fewer of us time manipulators there are, the better. I know that sounds like bullshit, but please understand. I've seen the void beyond the egghead's eyes. It leads somewhere outside of time as we know it, outside of our universe. I've seen the things there that want to get in. I hear them talking to me, trying to get me to meddle with time even more. I won't do it. I'm sorry, Delilah. I'm so sorry. Also, I'm sorry if I scared you. I'm an egghead now too. Live your best life and don't forget me. Yours forever, Sean. I won't forget you, you fucking idiot. I hate you. I hate you for disappearing. I love you. Rest in peace.